So the next piece we're going to do is the Toccata and Fugue in D minor by Jsbach, the great German Baroque composer. This was originally written as an organ piece to demonstrate the touch of the organist on the instrument. Toccata means touch. So it's a sort of showing off piece in a way for the technique of the player. Toccata, this is the opening. And then we have the fugue. Now, a fugue is a contrapuntal piece which takes a melody and then shares it round, whether it's different voices within the organ, or in this case, different voices, instruments within the orchestra. And we hear the theme, we then hear it in another instrument with a counter theme played against it, and then gradually the theme is built up and we hear it in different parts of the orchestra. So it's quite a complex thing to do. The other thing to say about this is that it's like a fantasia. It's a sort of fantasy, and we'll come back to that in a moment. But it almost feels like it's improvised in the feeling of it. So it has lots of different sections, and we're going to need to be really clear about the new tempos when they start, and endings of sections going into the next section. So all of those moments are really clear. I think what we'll do first of all is play it through to you. Well, one of the things, it's one of those pieces that you know or you've heard and you think of it as a certain way. We've got to read it really carefully off the page to make sure we play it as it's written, not maybe as we remember it, because there are some differences in the way it's presented here. Why is it in orchestra? Well, Leopold Stokowski, who was an American conductor, he became involved in the Disney film Fantasia, and this piece opened up this film, which was made, I think, in the 50s. And Stokowski had the piece arranged for orchestra, and this arrangement here is based loosely on that piece. Very dramatic. So if you haven't seen Fantasia and you've got a chance, do watch just the opening of this. It's very, very dramatic, and it's not in a way how we tend to think of as Baroque music. And look out for the changes as they happen through the piece, particularly the starts of the new sections, and also where we take time at the end of some of these broader passages, broader, slower passages that you get in the piece. Here we go. played. You can see how the piece really has its origin in a keyboard piece, and it's so dramatic. It's got gravitas to it, it's got weight and power, but it also has this great lightness, and I think that will be the thing to draw out. Those big slower sections are very grand. We'll need to have nice broad tone, strong dynamics, and then the toccata aspects, and also in the fugue, keeping the articulation precise, really well controlled, and not rushing. It'd be a real temptation, particularly when you have lots of quaver passages. Da 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 dee, da dee dee da dee da dee da dee da. Very easy for that to just run away. So keeping all of it very steady there. There's an interesting moment towards the end that we worked out this morning that we'd like to do. 128, 129. So at 128, we're going to pull back a little bit, a ritardando in the second half of that bar into the allegando molto, which is very broad. But the second and third bars of the allegando molto, we're going to push through and accelerando through there, and then bring the fourth bar and into the fifth bar back. So there's quite a bit of movement in the time there. We'll just demonstrate that again. We'll go straight from 1 to 9. 1 to 9. And just see how this works out. So allegando molto and 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. So this is another moment where you need to keep a really close eye on the conductor, and so that we all move together. A lot of that movement's happening in the lower strings, it's happening in the brass, and we'll want to get those quavers in the brass, dum, deem, dom, deem, dom, bom, bom, through there, really together. So a pair of spectacles over that section, make sure you keep an eye on the conductor, which will be me. Good. Let's go back to the beginning. Things to look out for here. Beginning of bar 3, the rest on the first beat. Very tempting to play on that beat. And look out for that, circle that rest. And if you're playing, that's clarinets, saxophone, it's trumpets and violins. 1, da-da-da. So make sure that we're placing that in the right way. Percussion. Timpani, counting the beginning very carefully and coming in really strong, fortissimo, at bar 11, 10, 9, 8, at bar 8. There's a big change of character, isn't it, at the end of that section, bar 11, this strong, big chord that we have sustained right across the orchestra into a much lighter texture, the toccata sort of writing at 12. And we'll be looking out for that change of tempo, più mosso, a little quicker at that point, and lighter all the way through that passage. I think it's, yes, about precise. Oboes, you'll need to have a look, and violas at 28, 29. Ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, 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 that rhythm which plays against the flute that you'll be sitting next to in the clarinets that are playing dum bum bim bum bim, ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, ta-ta, getting those really precise through there. Other things to look out for are the changes. Sometimes we're going from 2 in a bar into 4 in a bar. And if we look at the section, for example, I'm just looking at bar 47 now, we're in 2 through this passage, pa ti ta ti ta ti ta, allegando in 4, 2, 3, 4 and 1. So looking out for those changes, and then back into 2 for the moderato.